Hello, everybody. Welcome to the broadcast. If you are here, if you can hear me, I believe you can hear me. I trust OBS now enough to like show my mic output to see it's going. Welcome all to the broadcast. Sorry, I'm running a little late today, folks. I had a doctor's appointment this morning, which got out a little late, and then of course I had to prepare some coffee for this broadcast because I like drinking coffee when I do this. So that's why I'm running a little late. Welcome. Thank you for waiting if you've waited. Appreciate it. Let's get started with our broadcast. I don't know how long a broadcast I'll do today, just because I'm not like overly prepared to broadcast just because that's a doctor's appointment. But I did want to hop on. I want to kind of keep regularly with this and do like 3 days a week on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday if we can. Welcome to the broadcast, everyone. Let's go ahead and start by just kind of doing a look at the market. I'll pull up Coin Market Cap or Coin Gecko. I think I'll pull up Coin Market Cap probably for us here this morning, since they got the dark layout going for me. Let me switch screens for you. And again, I've got this lower third banner prepared now too. I'm trying to add to the broadcast as we can, make it look a little more professional. So I hope this isn't too big here, but we'll adjust. We'll adjust, and I'm gonna put up the chat for you guys too as we look at the market here. Things are going better today. If we look at the altcoins, guys, things are looking good today for some of these altcoins. I see Zcash is up another 33% in the last 24 hours, now at $711. So I believe it's broken. Zcash now has broken its all-time high for perhaps within the last couple of years anyways. I don't think it's, whatever happened at launch there, it's not broken that yet, but it's rising rapidly here in the last week or two. If we look at the chart for the last week, in the last week it's up, well, it's only, the market cap's up only 32%, but the total, the project's up 91% over the last week. So that's very, very good growth for this project here on Zcash. Even Bitcoin's doing a little better today, I guess. It wasn't looking good before I started this broadcast. It looked like Bitcoin was dumping also, but maybe it's kind of catching up here with the rest of the market. I know I have some people in my like whale chat who are calling for alt season, and some of these tokens here are showing some very strong recovery here in the last 24 hours. So who knows, guys? Who knows? Maybe we are headed into the blow off top of the alt season. My kind of line in the sand with this market right now, guys, is like, if we close below 100K with like serious conviction, to me, it's kind of like the writing might be on the wall there at that point. And I've kind of like, I haven't scaled out of all the crypto I'm in. Obviously I'm still getting, I've been acquiring a few memes and like a few other tokens here on the decline the last few weeks, but like Solana, I was trying to get rid of a lot of Solana around, let's check the price. I don't know. The last true alt season was 2027, in my opinion. Yeah, I mean, again, and as I mentioned in the last stream, you're going to see diminishing returns. But if you look at something like Solana, man, where you're buying, where you had the opportunity to buy at $10 or $20, right, in the depths of the bear market, you can't say that there hasn't been some sort of season for Solana here in the last couple of years, right? Since 2023, in my opinion, where like early 2023 was the best time to probably accumulate, when everyone was depressed about FTX and all that was going on in the market then. And then you had awesome returns, right? And no matter what now, had you bought in that almost that whole year period, you could sell at any time and be in profit as long as you purchased, the majority of your tokens. Yes. And true. I mean, Solana, as far as I know, I don't think Solana quite broke its all-time high. It did. It broke its all-time high, right? Solana did break its all-time high at 253. 253 there. So, and that's what, like, that was like during the Trump coin. And that's where I sold a lot of Sol, guys. Like, I was getting rid of Sol, like, all in here. And then this summer, I was kind of accumulating, and I did get rid of some, around 250 again, around that all-time high. And then I'm still accumulating some Solana, but I'm not I'm not like thinking, I'm not really thinking we're going to get, a massive blow off top on this, but who knows? Who knows? It's best to accumulate when everyone is down in the dumps. All-time high against Bitcoin. I trade on the BTC. Well, that's your personal choice, but I mean, on the dollar pair, it's beat its all-time high, right? I mean, on the if you got that much Bitcoin, right? Maybe to you it's not great returns, but for people who are scaling in to the market at that time or who had lost a lot, the returns are pretty good, right? Versus the dollar anyway. Let's look at a couple more tokens here today and see how they're doing. Hyperliquid up 9% on the day. I mean, just everything's kind of popping off. And again, as NBA Bitcoiners said, with the alt season, quote unquote alt season, you're going to see diminishing returns. And we can look at examples of many projects for that. We could pull up Near Protocol, which I don't even know who uses Near Protocol, but let's just look at it. It did have these bumps, but it never hit what it did in 2021, right? And maybe it never will. That's what I would expect. As he's saying, that's what I would expect for most of these tokens. And I wish we could pull up CRM here on CoinMarketCap, but thus far we are unable to do so. I will pull up CRM token since this broadcast is sponsored by our token, right? Let's look at CRM chart today and see how we're doing on the day. We're up 0.52% on the day, guys, or 0.5% on the day. I mean, the max chart doesn't look great. I'm hoping we'll see like a massive spike here, which will pale in comparison to our all-time high around 1 million. We didn't quite break. Now, this is like our all-time high on CoinGecko, but I believe if we like pull up CRM, the chart, we did hit about like close to 1 million, but we never really quite broke it. And if we were to break $1 million on the CRM chart, we could then apply, I believe, for like Moonshot or some of these other exchanges that like these decentralized exchanges that allow. I'm going to just remove the chat. How's development going on the project? The development is going fine. I'm currently just really waiting for if we get listed on CoinMarketCap or not, right? And if we're unable to do it through the person I'm working with, it's going to cost us some money, guys. That's just the key to it. So I'm kind of waiting to either spend money on marketing or on CoinMarketCap if we fail to get that listing, or on kind of app development work, or a combination of the two. So I'm kind of just in limbo right now with that. And we've released the website. I'm going to do some improvements to the website over the weekend. I mentioned that we're kind of planning to do a Discord server as well as a message board. So I'll kind of be working on that over the weekend for the project while we're waiting for the listing. So I do kind of intend to keep on pushing here, regardless of whether this CMC listing comes through right now or later. But I don't see why getting listed on Coin. They list rugs all the time. Marketing is way more important. Sure. I mean, again, but every project in crypto is listed on CMC, right? Every project of prominence is listed there. So for me, it is important to get listed there. But maybe you're right. Maybe it's better just to market versus try to get listed there and give those people $5,000. You guys have to remember that CoinMarketCap is owned by Binance, right? So when you give those people money, you're really giving money to Binance at the end of the day, since they own that company, right? But we will work through that here. I will talk with the whales in the project this weekend maybe, and see what they'd like to do, or see what the consensus is on that. So yeah, that's kind of an update on the project, I guess. I will have another. I'll announce this later, but I'm probably going to extend the contest out until like next to the next AMA, like on Tuesday, just because I don't really see enough entries there. I'd like to see just a few more. If anyone is interested in this contest, all you have to do is present evidence of a scam, whether it's been covered or not, and then get some reactions here. I'm just not seeing enough reactions really on what people have posted. I think NBA Bitcoiner, no, would you be the winner right now? Or would the Jelly MC crime? But all this person's listed really is a chart, right? I'd like to see a little more than just a chart. Let's see here. And again, this is like already listed as probable spam. Like someone obviously botted this, right? Right right? They've got 24 likes and 24 retweets. It just doesn't seem like this post is getting that much attention for them to have that kind of reaction. Kit Kat. Someone put so Kit Kat. Okay. So yeah, like NBA Bitcoiner might be the winner at this point with like just 2 likes there and a little bit of interaction. So guys, if you'd like to enter this contest, I'll keep it running till I'll put an announcement up about this today, but I'll keep it up till like Tuesday or something. So have the weekend. Maybe there'll be a scam pop off of this weekend, or someone wants to present something here. Shouldn't be too hard to win this though. Really, you just need a few legit interactions. Kit Kat has been farmed for weeks now. I made them notice the 65% bundle, and they were like, "Oh, but it's normal." Yeah, I mean, in this market too, guys, with crypto, like with the current market, bundles are pretty normal, and that's in defense of our project too. That's one reason it's a little bit hard to like push the price on our project. It's not bundled, right? So like it takes more to move the price when you don't have like 50% of the supply wrapped up, right? And we don't have that kind of supply right now. We ultimately, the project, I want to have more supply for this token of CRM going into the new year, so we can do stuff like listings next year and stuff. So again, we don't really have like enough supply under our belt, in my opinion, right at this moment. So okay, let's kind of look on. I mean, that is right. It's normal. Like in this market, it's pretty normal to see bundled projects. Let's just pull up KitKat and see how KitKat's doing today. I'm going to remove the chat just for a minute. It takes actual work and value, which you're providing. That's how markets work. I agree. I wish the market would realize that too, though, at some point. Let's just see how both KitKats are doing, guys. I'm going to take the chat down just for a moment, just so you guys can see a little better here. Here's Remembering KitKat. Now, this is the main one. Like, I believe this has the backing of the owner. So this one here, to be honest, the chart doesn't look horrible, really. It's had some dumpage, but they're probably farming the hell out of this thing, guys. They are probably farming this. They're not letting it, they're not letting it run like it probably could if there wasn't so much supply control going on in this thing. So, maybe it could go a little, maybe it could run, maybe get some listings here. Let's look at the competitor Bit Lords shitcoin and see what that one's doing. Which one was his? I'm assuming it's going to be the one with the highest amount of, with the most amount of market cap. I'm guessing it's this one here. Yeah, I think this is the correct one. So this is the BitLord one. I mean, this thing looks rugged to hell, basically. So we can see, in the battle of the KitKats, who the likely winner probably is. But they're both, they're both bundled up, guys. They're both bundled. So that's the risk you take with the project, especially in this kind of market here. I would say this is it's not probably going to do much more than it's done, but I've been surprised before. If the narrative sticks, I think they could have let it run a little more before this, like these dumps here. But maybe they were a little worried about getting some of their money out of this. So I don't know what the bundlers have done, but yeah, I mean, the chart looks okay to me, to be honest, but remember, it's very supply controlled and likely to not perform well in the long run, probably. Okay, let's look at a few more projects here and see what else is going on in the market. I'm just going to look through some of the main runners of the day here, if we can, and see what's happening. Well, that was a rug, whatever that thing was. Fastnatic network down 72% and 73% in the last 6 hours. Not great. Let's see what they were about. AI powered meme coin. Guys, be careful about this. I'm like seeing these daily like AI agent scams right now, and it kind of seems to be like a popular, like it's easy to scam people on this because it's like you just need a few images. I'll pull up the chat again here while we're waiting. You just need a few AI generated images and like pretend like you're doing something, you're going to create something here. And people seem to fall for this like pretty regularly. And then they just pull the rug on it, of course. Right. So they put together a few images, run it through for 5 or 6 hours. They have a bot account here with 100 followers. Right. Because obviously if the project launched today, they didn't join in August 2020, right? So they purchased a small-time account to run this scam on. and then they have this website, which I'm not going to visit. So yeah, this is Phasnatic rug pull, but watch out. These are popping off these days, guys. These type of rugs are popping off. Can you check RJV? I will in a moment. I'm gonna run through like just a few of these top projects here that I'm seeing on the trending list here before I do that. Here's now I don't know what the hell is going on with this thing. Monero Chan. Pump got some pump, had 4.8 million in volume here. This thing's pumped up today in the last 2 days or so. Got some pumpage on this. Let's look at this thing on GMGN if we could, just to see what's going on with the distribution here. Okay, and we're seeing, there's a lot of bundlers involved here, and then we're seeing these fresh wallets, like about 300 of them, which is like less than we've seen in some of these projects. And then what you want to look for is their funding. If the funding is coming from the same wallet, it doesn't always come from the same wallet, right? And these are not all the same people always too, but a lot of times they'll fund from like similar exchanges. You'll see, or maybe even a variety of changes. It looks like a lot of funding here came from Binance on these fresh wallets. But again, they're funding from these sexes, so you cannot see like where the original funds came from, kind of. Just be careful with this one. I'm not sure what, again, assume bundled on most of the market right now, because of the market conditions. Probably assume a lot of these are going to be bundled. But again, I would want to look more into these holders and see what else they're holding. It says 33% of the wallets were bundlers on this. So, be careful. This is supply controlled for sure. Let's look back at a few more. EMA, whatever this is, again, looks very ruggish here with whatever's happened so far on this chart. I'll pull up their X real quick. EMA Trade Pro is what their X is called. Advanced trading platform with AI-powered market analysis. Again, I mean, it's not very hard to create something like this with a couple AI images, couple AI videos that they paid for, put a little bit of a flair on the images, and you sucker people like this. I mean, it just doesn't look like there's much behind this. Again, and I don't really want to visit the website of a brand new project unless I'm on a different browser where I don't have funds loaded into a wallet. I'm gonna be real careful with, clicking around on newer projects, guys, with getting into their Telegram and stuff. Check it out on a computer that you're not loaded up in a wallet on. Just be, crypto security safe. I don't mind going to someone's X. Also verify, that you're actually linking to an X account. I believe that Dex Screener makes them link to an actual X account. So there's not really any risk in getting drained by visiting an X account, but you could, you go into their Telegram and maybe there's like a entry bot or something. That's how you get scammed with these newer ones. So this looks like garbage to me. Vexar, rugged already, Rug City, wow. Okay, and let's see what Vexar was as well. And it looks like a lot of the scam trends right now, guys, are these AI LARP, scams, right? AI powered trading with lightning speed. Again, a similar scam as that other one we just looked at, right? They just created a few AI images, did Dex Screener, blah, 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 right? And then they scam people like that. So this is definitely, from what I'm seeing, KOL, AI scam trend right now. So yeah, just be careful, guys. Be aware that, a lot of this AI stuff, it's not just going to be some shitter that launches on Pump Fun, at 7 in the morning or midnight, right? And just be aware that, there's put a little thought into what you're buying, because, this got $3 million in volume. $3 million in volume would take care of like building our app or something, guys. It's just like, almost depressing sometimes to look at these scams every day, where people are like tricked by like the most obvious like nothingness, right? It's just nothing behind these things. And you can see it's bundled, right? Because right at bonding, shoots straight up. So they bundled it, let people buy in a little bit and then just rugged it out. And it's never recovering. They're never developing this project. It's a scam. Okay, and again, they paid for trending, right? All these projects that rug, typically they're doing trending boosts up here. There's Eugene. I don't know what this is. Only 200,000 or so. Horse in an air vent. Horse. Again, this has been around for a couple days. Clearly bundled. Just based on the chart. And I'm going to pull down the chat just real quick so you can see what this thing is. Right. The chart looks. These charts look good, but it's like mostly controlled by the scammers, right? They'll like. People give up here, and then they buy and pump it, right? And then they're playing games with people who are like holding this token, probably, right? They're playing games here with this thing. It's hard to make money on these, where they're like, they're holding it there for 6 or 7 hours, dumping, and then they send it right themselves after people sell. So like, no one can get rich on this kind of stuff. Okay, let's look at any other stuff. Looks like some of the main bigger memes are up quite a bit today. I see Chill House up 32%. Now this token, I'm surprised this thing's done well. Like I did call this a scam. It did dump out. It dumped out and then they ran it back too. It's again, some of these they wait for people to sell and then you could have made, you could have got it. But I did think, this was bundled, right? This South Park sucks now. I don't know. Still don't have much open in something like that. There's this mech token, Mert Cash. I believe one of his buddies, one of those people who appeared on a podcast launched this on behalf of Mert's behalf. So, and it was, I did check the allocation on this and it did seem bundled too. So, or at least somewhat supply controlled. I don't have much hope. I don't really suspect a prominent figure in the Solana space to really back a meme coin that they've someone's created on their behalf. I don't think it will be that much of a popular thing. Let's see. Jelly. Now Jelly has been doing some horrible scamming this week, in my opinion. Someone in this token's been scamming away because this thing has pumped or it's dumped, pumped, and dumped again. This, that's Jelly. Supposedly they're building a SocialFi app related to videos, but I from what I saw, it didn't look that amazing. It didn't look like it deserved a $500 million valuation earlier in the week for sure. Not really sure why that. I thought the story behind this was that that someone had bought in 20% of the supply or something like that. I think Bubble Maps covered this. Yeah. It says the whole market is nuking. Meanwhile, the forgotten meme Jelly soared to 400 million market cap after 7 wallets bought 20% of the supply on Sexes. Right? So they're basically luring. It looks like they're luring people in just to run a short or something like that on some of these people. So you had about a good 24 hours there with Jelly, and now it's just dumped back to where it was prior to the listing on Aster earlier this week. I believe that some of that market activity could have been related to the Aster listing, but it looks like they're just playing games with it once it got listed on Aster. Jelly is a shit show. Yes, South Park did quite well. Communities can seem dead compared to last. Yes, last year you have to consider that we had the election last year, and then after the election, from then until basically inauguration was just meme mania, right? So we had that really good meme season starting around this time last year, right? Right after the election, the market started to recover. Memes started going crazy again. So we're not really seeing that this year. But there are still some runners in the market. He's got to be a little, look a lot harder. But last year, even with some of those runners, you only had a little bit of time. Like with Peanut, it did hit a huge valuation, but your time to sell was basically when it got, shortly after it got listed on Binance. Probably was a good time to get out of that when it was peak euphoria and people were like, this is going to 10 billion, for a squirrel that died. I don't know. Doesn't seem like the valuation there was lining up. So if you're in that one, a good time to get out. Probably just scaling out of that one would have been good as it got listed, as the value grew. We're not seeing runners like that this year for sure. Okay. I don't think that there's much else I want to cover. Does anyone have a token? Who asked me to check a token? Rejuve. I'll pull that one up real quick. And is this a base or BNB token? Is it Rejuve on BNB or Rejuve on? I mean, there's not much here for me to go on if it's Rejuve on. Oops. Sorry, if it's Rejuve on BNB, there isn't like a link to a website or anything. Is this the correct token? Rejuve on ETH. RJV, is that right? Rejuve. 1 year, 10 months old. 902,000 market cap. It can't be this, right? Cannot be this chart you're asking me to look at, is it? That thing looks like doom. I can't, like, if that's the chart, I mean, like, the thing is, I don't have anything to go on here because this token has no icon, it has no website. Search on CMC. All right, let's see. Rejuve AI. I mean, the chart doesn't look good if this is what it is. What's their deal? Can you tell me, like, thoughts on Z? I mean, yeah, I think ZEC is performing very well right now, but I they're being shilled to high heaven. Maybe they're usually like I told you guys in the stream earlier this week. Usually when you like are thinking about buying something like this, when it's up on 30% on the day, usually that's when it's about topped out. Maybe wait for a pullback here. It's pretty heated token. Using AI for longevity, prolonging life, etc. I'd have to research this more. I'm all about prolonging life and things like that. If there's a way that we could do that as a species, but I don't really have much faith in like in a crypto project to necessarily do that for us. Website's okay here, kind of junky. They got some partners. They do have partners. I don't know who these people are, but it does say they have some partners going. Do they have an app already developed? It says they have an app. I'd have to research this more. It says it's powered by the Singularity Foundation. I don't know who they are. The Singularity Foundation. I'd have to look into this more. Check out Zora. Let me know your thoughts. Oh, I like Zora. I bought some Zora on behalf of our project, guys, on behalf of our DAO, just because we're on the Zora network. This is the Zora you're talking about, right? Oh, Zara, sorry. Wow. 98%. 98% in the last 24 hours. That's pretty good. Looks like this thing's like kind of closing back in on its all-time highs. I'll let's see if I can get the chat out of here for a second if you want to see that, guys. Zara. Now, what is Zara? I'm not familiar with Zara either. Zara is let's see here. Zara is a zero knowledge privacy okay, so it's another one of these privacy protocols that are like popping off here right now, guys. And I talked about this last week. If we want to look through the privacy protocols today and just kind of see what's going on, with these. My take on that. I don't know that project that you've put on there, but if that's the sector of the economy, of the crypto economy that's doing well, I wouldn't doubt that's going to do well as well. Now some of these are down. We got Decred. Decred has run this week though. It's gone up 94%. And it's down 20% on the day. That was one that I was looking at a little bit. I was kind of reading about this the other night. Now, Oasis, I've been a holder of Oasis for a while too, and I'm actually surprised to see doing well. Like I kind of have just thought I was going to be a forever holder of this, but maybe now I've got some hope. I think I got this at like 1 cent or so a couple years back. Any other? It looks like this whole sector of the crypto economy is just doing broadly well in the last week, guys. In the last week or so, these all look like they're doing very well. So yeah, if you're a holder, or you're a believer in privacy tokens, you're eating right now, and maybe now is not the best time to buy. After the market's already kind of pricing some of this stuff in. But if you were a holder or you've been a believer in this stuff, you're getting paid now, right? I'm not telling again, this show, nothing I say is financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor, but typically like when stuff's blowing up, you're late to the game. You're late to the game a little bit. So for me, I'm not personally like FOMOing into Zcash right now. Like maybe I'm a little interested because of all this market attention it's gotten, but personally, I would like to see some sort of pullback. And if I miss it, there'll be another token. There's always another token, right? There's always another trade, guys. Just remember that. Don't get too obsessed with you missing one narrative, because the next narrative will come, and the next one, and the next one, right? Don't that's one way people blow up their bags, is like chasing these narratives when they're already played out. So just be careful. Not telling you guys one way or another. Maybe it's going to keep on going, keep on pumping, right? And it would be a good point to buy right now, right? That's the risk you take with investment. For me, a little bit overplayed at the moment. I like a little more upside potential than I feel that this project is going to give with the remainder of the market that we have. Chasing fat green candles usually gets people wrecked. Yes. I mean, so I am showing you some juicy green candles, guys, but just be aware of that idea, right? Chasing those candles gets you wrecked usually. So it's fun to like look at these projects that are pumping, but just be aware, right? Your time to buy is not the day when a project is up 33% and it's got a valuation of $11 billion already. That is not the day to buy usually. Okay, just be aware. I mean, I don't know your investment level, your how skilled you are as an investor, but typically these are the days where you sell and you take some profit and stuff like that when you get a project that's pumping that much and you've been invested for a while. It's not a good day to buy on the green candles usually. Just a good day to just kind of observe, and look at stuff that you might want on a pullback, maybe learn a little more about the market, right? That's what you take these days for. Or take some profits if you got some profits today. Maybe you bought the dip these last few days and you're up a little bit and you want to take a little money off the table. Up to you how you do. You're your own financial advisor, right? Or you have a financial advisor in your life. But for me, I don't. When I 2021. Maybe 2018, 2019, me as an investor seeing all this stuff would have made me, want to FOMO, and I'm not trying to encourage people to FOMO on days like this, because we have no idea what the market's going to do this weekend. You're going into a low liquidity weekend, stuff like that, right? So you just have to consider the timing of your investment at all times when you're playing around with crypto. Okay, in terms of Rejuve AI, I'll get back to your answer on that. This looks like kind of like an AI LARP to me, guys. I'm not overly excited about these AI projects. Virtuals was one that I made a little money on last year. Virtuals, and I believe they are deploying AI agents that are being used, like AI XBT, right? For example, is it Virtuals or Virtual Protocol? And they're up today. They're almost back to $1 billion, right? They've see how their chart looks right now. Put it on the daily time frame. I'm gonna take down chat real quick. I mean, the chart could be better, right? But they have. I think. I don't know why. I maybe pulling up incorrect chart on this. I want to see the full over time. Their full chart over time. There we are. Okay, so that kind of launched towards the end of last year, and it hit a peak valuation of 5 billion in market cap, and now we're back down to like 924. It had pumpage this summer. That could be a sign that some of these, like this is one of the larger AI projects. This could be a sign, that we were overheated, definitely overheated last year towards the beginning of the year with this AI stuff. Just look for that narrative to come back because like there are these times where there's these narratives in crypto that kind of take off, and you're looking for opportunity where the narrative hasn't like come back yet, kind of, in my opinion. And AI might be a field, a sector of the crypto economy where it could come back eventually, give you some returns. For me, I think this valuation for this project, around 1 billion, probably a little high in my eyes, even for what it's doing for the market. But that I'm not always I'm not always great at determining valuations. I do know 5 billion was probably an overvaluation for this one for sure. Because AI XBT I think is the most popular bot, and it's still popular. It's still you still see it on X and stuff. Okay. Any other projects I want to look through, or let's pull up the chat again real quick. Yeah, I think that that's good for projects. Let's look a little bit of news here on the day. See if there's anything. Look at CoinMarketCap real quick. I do see broadly speaking, these holy shit, Filecoin's up 100. This guys, and people are saying not an alt season, but again, 111% on the day for Filecoin. And if you remember last cycle, that's the kind of days we were seeing, right? Pandu. What's up with Pandu? What do you think CRM will do this alt season? I hope it blows up and gets to a massive valuation, man. I think when you're thinking about a smaller token like this, you have to somewhat think in line with what we're going to be able to accomplish in the next few months here. I feel like if we can get listed on a few exchanges, perhaps, add some liquidity to our project, I could see us doing some X's. But as the project developer, it's probably unethical of me to give any like financial prediction on our project, right? I do expect the valuation to increase though, as we move forward, and as we keep developing the project seriously, right? I do think the market will come to that realization. Our liquidity is very thin too, so less money will be needed. Yes, I mean that's true, right? If there's less money needed to send it up, and there's less money needed to send it down, right? That's the thing with low liquidity, right? Is we are really, our liquidity is coming from the liquidity pool on eToro, right? That's really where our main liquidity pool for the project. And then for the Zora token, the liquidity mostly lies on Zora as well right now. So if we can add liquidity to, that's another goal for the cryptorugmunch token on Zora would be to add liquidity. Let me look up Pandu. Now I think the reason I didn't like Pandu is because it's a bonk token, right? You can see the address here. Right, I didn't really like these bonk projects all that much because I feel like they're insider controlled projects, with the same dev is useless or the bonk guy, right? But let's just check real quick and see what kind of insiders are in this thing. Okay, it's the fresh wallets don't look too crazy. They do say it was 11 or 12% bundled, and there's some phishing wallets in here which are wallets associated with each other. So somewhat supply controlled. There's not a ton of of those fresh wallets in this project though, which I don't like to see, right? Those fresh wallet labelings. So, not bad with the distribution probably. It's going to be somewhat supply controlled by the team. I believe what the deal with this one was, did they have an NFT or something? Is this an NFT project? This Pandu? Pandu Pandas. Yeah, it looks like it's a project somehow related to the NFT collection around the project too, right? Is that right? You can you can make your own Pandu? Is there no NFT? Yes, they went for 5 Sol. Okay, so you bought an NFT, and then there's like a token listed around the NFT. Um, Looks like they're listed on MEXC. File is absolutely sending out. Yeah, I mean, and to me, that's like a clear indication of like perhaps entering some sort of walls. I mean, when you get these where Bitcoin just like what you're looking for is you're looking for the altcoin dominance to increase, right? And then Bitcoin dominance to decrease. So if we're seeing that right now across the board, and some of these are just popping off, to me that looks like, we could be entering a period of good times for the alts. However, you have to consider, right? We don't know what's going to happen in the next few weeks. There's a lot of global instability. The U.S. Government's closed down right now. There's stuff going on in the market just besides, is AI going to make it? All these, is AI in a bubble, right? There's other thoughts going on. Just besides crypto, guys. So just remember, some of these coins needed to have some recovery because they've been beat to hell over the last couple of weeks since October 10th or whenever that day was. We had that massive drop. So just remember that too. Is like some of these coins needed a good day. Wow, holy shit! Near Protocol's up 40% in the day. Craziness. All right, good. I mean, I honestly, like, this stream is kind of like turned a bit positive for me because like when I was getting ready to go on the air today, Bitcoin was like down around 100,900 bucks, so a little more positive. It's a little easier to stream when when the market's doing a little better. Now let's look at thoughts on Wintermute. I think market makers are a plague on the market, right? They're a plague, and they wreck retail traders all the time. I wish the Department of Justice would open an investigation into Wintermute and to all these other market makers in the crypto space, right, and regulate them. If this was a traditional market, you couldn't do what Wintermute does, and you couldn't do. I mean, like that's the thing, right? So, if we need market makers to survive as a space, then they definitely should be regulated in what they do, and they shouldn't be like counter trading retail investors. That's my thought on Wintermute. Okay, this is Sudang. This thing was bundled, but this is probably like on Sui, one of the more popular memes, and it's up today, 235% on the day. For Sudang. I wasn't a fan of this. I think I called this project out when it came out. So, guys, I'm not like shilling Sudang here for you. I think it's a bundled and probably crime happening, which caused this 235% price increase here in the last 24 hours. Okay, so Squirrel says you stake NFT, you get 100K tokens a week. Probably not sustainable. Yeah, I mean, and then you got to think of like, where does that money come from, Squirrel? Where is the, and this is kind of a cliche statement, but where is the yield come from for that 100K? And how is that, how is that sustainable without getting more suckers to buy the token every week? That's something I consider, with a project like that. It does look like it had a little run. Maybe it'll do well, but you want to look at the team more, and you want to check the association of, is this project associated closely with the Bonk team, or are they just launching on their launch pad or not? Like, was it backed by the Bonk guy or by Marcel or any of these other KOLs? Because if it is, you can assume bundled and probably going to rug, and if it's not, maybe give it a chance, right? And then check more with the allocation. Look at the bubble maps. Look at the look on Dev's Nightmare. Get into SoulScan and stuff, and look more at the allocation on this one. That's my advice for you on this. If the Bonk team is involved, for me, it would be immediate no. If they're not, maybe it's a maybe depending on the allocation here and stuff. But I don't like that you're like, how are they giving away 100K tokens if you hold the NFT? They were all in Telegram shilling it. No, yeah, I mean that's the thing. If you look over the history of most of the Bonk guys' tokens, they just haven't done well. And I posted about this earlier this week. I'll see if I can quickly pull up that post for you just to show you kind of what I was talking about. It wasn't my post. It was like a retweet I did. that show. Okay, and these are all the bonk tokens that have been shilled, and the kind of results over time. You can see they all haven't kind of really done that well over time. So just be careful. And some of them have retained value over $1 million in market cap, but they're like still just kind of dead projects. And those people behind them, like Marcel, for example, is a known pump and dump scammer in the space, right? So not to be trusted, really. Okay, that's my rant on Pandu. Anything else, guys? Anything else you want to talk about today in this space? I don't really have a lot of stories here because I was kind of at the doctor earlier this morning. Oh, I did see Zach XBT is working with BNB chain guys. I did put, hopefully this is BNB letting a canary into their coal mine. If they're going to regret this later, but you never know. What someone's motivation is. I'm gonna keep it open mind because Zach's been really nothing but good for the space so far. So good for him getting paid to expose scams on BNB, and I hope they let him do his job properly and investigate what they're doing as well. Seems crazy, Wilfie. I mean, I'm not a big fan of Trump by any means, or what they're doing in the crypto space, but yeah, look at that chart, man. Let's look at the Wilfie chart. Has shown a bit of recovery from their launch, but like that launch was bad, right? The launch was bad. Pump and dump there, right? Now maybe this token will recover, but when you check the thing with these Trump tokens and Trump coin, Melania coin, they're all kind of the same as the insider controlled supply, which is released over a vesting period. I mean, you have to assume that when they get that supply, they're just going to dump it. And a lot of this is like 80% controlled, that they're going to get. Trump token was like 90% or a large amount, right? So like there's very little room for the community to make profit on something like that. It's not for me, really. I'm not going to really get into a political rant here on this episode, but just based on the chart, based on how the other Trump projects have performed over time, I'm just not a real fan. We can check the Trump chart too, just to see how that's doing today. I expect it would be up maybe, but Rug City. And again, that got to $75, guys. Now it's down to $772. Yeah, I mean, I expect more token unlocks over time, right, with this token. So I don't really see this token returning to its all-time highs either, just because of the way the vesting is set up on these, right? And you want to check that in a project too. If they're openly telling you how much the supply is controlled and stuff here. They're not like lying about this or anything. Whether what they're doing is ethical or not, but they're not like, the information is available on their website. We could check up, the other Trump token, Melania. Just see how that's doing. 11% up today, but I mean, this thing is just a rug, right? It's like a rug. So like, again, we got to be careful with these political people making tokens, right? They're not here to like enrich the market. I think it was Libra or Libre. Libre, I think was the token from the guy in Argentina. What was his name? Is it Libra? Libre? I can't remember. Have to find that one. We'll have to talk about that again at some point. But I mean, if it's doing so poorly, you can't even find it anymore. I think it was a Libre token, but this was from Milei in Argentina. Also same people as Melania, right? That's why I was kind of wanting to see that one too. The same bundlers as Melania, right? And they've been dumping this token all year. Now in the 96 million market cap. It's had 61K in volume in the last 24 hours on the Mitora. Okay, I'll pull up the chat again. What I have noticed that is really weird, whatever the market is going down, Trump, Melania both pump every single time. Sure, I mean, you might get a pump out of these tokens, once in a while, but like it's like pump to more dump, right? Pump to more dump. Barron Trump is selling. Yeah, I don't know, guys. Like with these Trump coins, I'm just not really a personal fan of this. But I can't say that like Trump didn't benefit me personally in the market, because like when his coin was launched and released going wild, there was like some days where I was earning like $2,000 a day on GMGN just from like people trading under my referral. So I mean, he did personally, like I did well during the Trump token and like made some money from people trading under me, but like I wasn't a buyer at any of the stages in it because it just seemed like, there was no winning really because you had only 24 hours really to get your money and get out, and then you risk still buying the top at like with Melania like $14 or whatever, and then just being a bag holder forever. So it was too risky for me on those. All right, is there any other news stories I want to talk about? Oh yeah, this MM Finance, right? It says the most suspicious token in crypto right now, Momentum Finance, MMT. After its launch November 4th, Momentum went from 35 cents to $3.98 in less than 24 hours, a 1,160% pump by early multi-sig wallets and leverage traders on Binance. Then the crash came. Right, and it crashed out, and now it's like down to 60 cents. And the whole deal with this is because they were doing an airdrop and how they set up the airdrop, like people who were eligible for their like pittance of an airdrop only really got it at like these prices. And that's like kind of the main complaint with this token, guys, is like they pumped it and then people probably bought into this pump too, in addition to being bag holders with the airdrop. And then now they're just like able to sell their peanuts, right? While the founders cashed out bigly. So be careful. And I think this is a SUI. Momentum Finance, I believe, is a SUI DEX. Nothing special from what I've seen really that warranted that kind of pump. Just crime. Okay. And here is the launch of that MERT token, I believe. Oh no, this is an announcement about the Helios developing a new blockchain explorer for Solana. I'll post on this more. All right, I think guys, that's about it for this. Oh yeah, be careful here with Thrust.com. This is a Iggy Azalea-backed launchpad. They're launching for celebrities, right? And if you look at her mother token over time, that thing's been a disaster. She has no business getting into a launchpad when she can't even manage her own token correctly, right? So I wouldn't trust celebrities. We saw this narrative already play out, and how did it do? It did horribly, right? We can look at all these tokens. We could look at Daddy token. Remember Andrew Tate's Daddy token? How's that doing today? I mean, pretty bad, right? Pretty bad if you bought any time. If you bought this token at any point except for like right here, a couple pumps, you had a couple pumps on it, but like just diminishing pumps, slowly grinding to zero, right? Diminishing pumps, slowly grind to zero. What other celebrity tokens were there? I did bring up Mother. Let's see how it's doing today. Let's see how it's up 7% on the day. I think she tried to like tie in a like crypto casino to this, and it never really took off. And like a fashion shop. I don't know. Just didn't seem like she had a lot planned for this thing, really. And the market cap exhibits that, or the price action exhibits her lack of planning on this. Okay, what else do we have for the celebrity tokens? What else was there? There was the Caitlyn Jenner token. I forgot what that was called. The Caitlyn Jenner token. Was it Jenner? Caitlyn Jenner. I don't know. I'm not going to click into something and have the wrong. It's probably this one, but I can't remember. Yeah, definitely this one, right? Okay, so you can see, how well Jenner did. Like, that day in June of 2024, it had its peak, pump. And then I think she like switched to Ethereum or something. It was just like a joke, right? It was a joke. And then Hulk Hogan, may God rest his soul, I think had like the Hulkster token, which he rugged. Who knows what he was doing that day. He said he didn't do it, but let's see if this is the correct one. Yeah, this is probably, no. Yeah, this is right too, right? Where he got to like, I don't know what his market cap got to. But now he's like, he passed away after this happened. But I do believe someone associated with Hulk Hogan or his team orchestrated this, and then maybe Hulk wasn't culpable himself, but that's just a review of a few of the celebrity tokens we've seen. So we really, in my opinion, as a space, we don't need more of these celebrity tokens. We need less of them, and or if you're gonna create one, properly manage it for your community. And Iggy Azalea basically doesn't really mention Mother anymore, right? She needs to be, pumping this regularly for her community, right? And showing what she's doing, showing some development work and stuff on the project. Let's see what their Twitter is like these days for the Mother project. I mean, she's posting regularly. They are continuing to post under the project title, so you got to give them that. Like, they haven't really like given up completely yet. Some of these, excuse me, I took a swig of coffee. Some of these projects, kind of give up and stop posting. And you don't want to see that, where they've just like completely discontinued posting. But she is still posting. I love Solana. She loves Solana, the money that the space brings her, probably. Okay, I think that's all, guys, for today. I've kind of covered, my rant on the market. Be careful with the market. We're looking for Bitcoin to hold, for me, to continue with these, like, this good price action here with these alts. I want to see Bitcoin hold above $102,000 or $100,000 and hold it with conviction, especially over going into the weekly close here on Sunday. So keep an eye on the Bitcoin price. It is the most important asset to be watching in crypto, regardless of what these alts are doing. If Bitcoin takes a big old dump, the alts are going to follow it. They do every time. So just be aware of that. Yeezy token. I'll pull that up. I was kind of like, I was in Asia when this token came out, I believe. Oh, okay. Is this the correct one? How's it able to hold that kind of liquidity? I believe they're able to hold that. They probably burned, like, they've burned liquidity or something on this thing, or burned. I believe that would probably be how they'd be able to hold that kind of market cap. That's crazy, though, that the amount of liquidity is higher than the market cap. I mean, I don't have much faith in Kanye West as a person, really, so I don't have much faith in his project. Is this the right one? Is this the correct one? Yeezy Money. I mean, they don't post ever, right? They're not really posting about their project at all. I'm also surprised it's been able to hold this level of market cap. It's not 200 million, right? It's 49 million. Okay. Yeah, I mean, again, it's a celebrity token. If you look at the overall chart, regardless of like what they've done, like with liquidity, like the price is still, if you bought when it was launched, right, and you didn't sell that first day, you're done, right? You're just going to be a holder forever, because this thing's never going back to that price, because Kanye West is insane, right? I mean, he seems like he's getting a little to get more together now this year, but he's just done outlandish things and has had no like accountability for his actions for the last 2 years. So what gives us faith that Kanye West? I mean, this takes nothing away from the man as like a musical genius, right? He wrote some amazing music, but like, what gives us faith that he's going to be able to manage a crypto project based on his like overall like public display of himself over the last 2 years? That for me is what the problem with this token is. It's like, maybe he's serious about it, but I don't see that based on their X posts. Whoever is managing the project for him, their X posts are barely just a launch here and then nothing for the last months. I post more than this in a day sometimes. So I don't think he's very serious about pushing this project forward. And yeah, or about his career really at this point either, just based on his public behavior. I was a fan of Kanye West too, as a music listener back in the day. I don't take anything away from what he's done in the past. Just don't see him as being a very serious person, like in the more recent history. Okay, guys, I'm gonna sign off. I'm gonna eat my lunch here. I think that's a good stream for the day. We covered quite a bit of ground here in the last hour. Talked about a lot of projects today. So I wish you the best, everyone, for the weekend. I hope you have a great weekend. I will be spending this weekend developing the Discord for our project, as well as a chat forum, some sort of like at least a preview version of the chat forum, hopefully before the next AMA. and then we'll continue hammering away on the CMC listing. Probably have a little discussion with some of the whales this weekend on that topic. And yeah, I look forward to the next broadcast, which will be Monday at 11 a.m. Central Time. Please tune in. If you enjoyed this broadcast, please like, subscribe, share, whatever you'd like to do with it. I would like to grow our presence on YouTube, on Kick, on Rumble, all these sites. So if you happen to be tuning in from one of these sites, please give us a follow, and know that we'll do more broadcasts like this in the future. This is hopefully in the future, I'd like to do this like on a daily basis. Again, I've had some health problems. I had Bell's palsy, which you can probably hear in my voice now is sounding a little better. So I am starting to recover from that as well. So maybe when I have just a little more energy, we'll get to the point where it's like a daily stream, like this. So, all right, guys, I appreciate everyone tuning in. I hope you have a wonderful day. I hope you have a great time with your family here. The holidays are approaching. Spend some time with your family. Don't always think about the markets too much, right? And I wish you all well. Have a great day. I'll be back on Monday at 11 a.m. Central Time. And then we'll also have our AMA on Tuesday at 4 p.m. as well. If you're looking forward to that, I'll put up an announcement on that as well. Take care, said and dead. Thank you. Take care as well, sir. Have a good week.